Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. I am so pumped that you are a part of the I Am Steel Nutrition and Lifestyle Seminar for the next 5 weeks. We're going to be talking a lot about things that are commonplace but are often overlooked in a nutrition program and in some lifestyle kind of things that you can fix. The first thing that I want you to start with, you're going to turn to a neighbor, turn to someone, and I want you on your sheet someplace to write down, what do you think a typical week of good eating should be? Healthy, nutritious eating. So take about, let's go 5 minutes. 5 minutes, turn to someone. It can be a group of 3, it can be a group of 2. It's up to you. But you tell me what you think a good breakfast would entail, what a good lunch would entail, and what a good dinner would entail. All right? Let's go. Hey, folks, let's bring it all back together. Let's bring it all back together here, people. If I could have your attention really quick, let's go ahead and share what we talked about. So let's start with Danielle, Joe, and Henry. What do you guys think was an ideal breakfast?
Egg, like black coffee.
Black coffee.
Eggs came up for both of us, seems like it.
Eggs.
And Henry mentioned avocado.
Yeah, avocado. If I can do bacon on there. Maybe a handful of, or not, like,
Some kind of nuts.
yeah, cashew.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else for breakfast?
She said yogurt.
Yogurt. Okay. Is that full fat yogurt or non-fat yogurt? Full fat.
And then Daniel also mentioned fruit.
Fruit. Okay, good. Gabe and Michelle, give me lunch. What do you got for lunch?
We were talking lean protein, vegetables,
Give me an example. Lean protein. What do you mean?
chicken or turkey or pork.
So some kind of poultry. Poultry. Let's go pork. Lean meat. Okay. What else?
Vegetables, greens,
Vegetables. Okay.
and then probably still some fat.
Fat.
Almond or like olive oil.
So nuts, olives. Okay. Anything else?
Depends, maybe some carbs if you need it.
What do you mean some carb?
Like a sweet potato or
So a starch like a potato. Okay. Anything else? It's good. Thank you. Back group, Troy, Ronit, and Kobe. What'd you guys have? For dinner. I'm sorry. Let's go to dinner now.
So really similar to lunch, like a poultry, meat or chicken.
Is that going to include beef? Can that include beef? Sure. Okay.
Vegetables, greens, Kobe and rice.
So greens,
Yeah, and
fish.
yeah, fish.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. What did you guys do for fat in there? Anything with fat in that dinner? You need added fat.
Like when you cook it too, though, so like you could put something with butter or something else.
Okay, so having butter or oil.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is actually a pretty good starting point for how to eat well throughout the week. But hopefully you're going to see that it's not simply just a food in and a food out kind of balancing equation. There is a lot more that goes into nutrition than just calories and just macronutrients. And hopefully by the end of this seminar, you're going to see that. If you take a look at your note sheet right here, let's kind of head and roll through this really quick. Would someone like to read the mission statement here? Who would like? Michelle, thank you so much.
Empower participants with the knowledge and skills to improve their athletic performance and or overall health using effective nutrition principles and stress reduction.
We're going to talk a lot about, as it starts off here at the beginning, we're going to talk a lot about stress and its importance on or how it can impact your performance and or health. So look, we got a number of different objectives. We're going to explain the impact of quality sleep on health and performance. We're going to implement proper breathing techniques. We're going to utilize principles of mindfulness to reduce daily stress. By the end of this seminar, you're going to be able to differentiate between the goals of performance and health. Very different distinction. Define and apply the definition of nutrient density towards making healthy food choices. Identify probiotic foods and explain their importance on gut health. Yada, 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 yada. Okay, I'm not going to belabor the point. You guys can read. At least I hope you can. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into this. All right, so stress. It is something that is unavoidable, okay? It is unavoidable. Okay? The first thing that we're going to talk about with that is that stress is a major disruptor of how your body can absorb nutrients, okay? So if your body is stressed, and we'll talk about what the types of different stressors are. Absorption is hindered. Okay? So what are some examples of stresses that exist in your day, that exist in your life? Danielle, give me one stress. What do you think is one particular stress that your body goes through?
Deadlines for work.
So work. Henry, what else? You got work. What else?
I mean, I guess just stuff or.
Yeah, emotions. What else? Michelle, give me another one.
I think it could maybe not as like, oh, I feel stressed, but stresses your body out, travel.
Travel, sure. We can almost tie that in with work. What about food? Is food a stress? Can food stress your body? Absolutely it can, when you're taking the wrong things in. We're going to be talking about something called inflammation. When your body is inflamed, when your immune system is inflamed, you will not be able to absorb your food as well. You'll have a higher chance of getting injured and or sick when your cells, we're not talking about like, you sprain a muscle and you get huge swelling in your knee or something. We're talking about at the cellular level, okay? Also, what's that? Yeah, physical stress, like a workout. Okay? Also, how your body exists, how it basically is structured. So you have structural stress. How your actual anatomy is. And then how you use that anatomy throughout the day. Like postural stress. You're in a bad position like this. That is stress. Okay? So in general, you have this huge big funnel. Okay? You can have work, you can have food, you can have relationships. Your body can only handle so much stress, okay, until it reaches the tipping point. And once we get past that level, that's when some bad stuff happens. Okay? Now, the goal of nutrition is to try and limit all of these stressors on the entire system, right? Now, I ask you this one question, and this plays a huge part in stress. Are you fulfilled? Are you fulfilled in your life? It's a simple question, but your job, your relationship happiness, fulfillment has a big impact on what your digestive system can do with your food. You know, we've all been there. You've been stressed after a long day of work. And yes, you can eat and you can binge eat and eat like crappy foods, but in terms of how that food is going to be digested, this is an important part. So I hope that if you aren't feeling fulfilled, you do some serious soul searching about things that do make you happy and do make you fulfilled, okay? Because it does have an impact on your nutrition. Sleep and lack thereof. How much sleep should you get a night, Gabe? 8 hours? Yeah, they usually say like 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And we're talking like blackout sheets, dark, uninterrupted sleep. Who wakes up and goes to the bathroom at the middle of the night? Okay? I do it 4 o'clock every day. Every morning, 4 o'clock, I wake up and I go to the bathroom. And sometimes that's not a matter of overhydration. That's a matter of stress hormones called cortisol. We'll talk about that in a little bit later. So sleep. We got to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep to make sure, again, that our gut health is good. Okay? There are 3 different hormonal areas that are impacted. So we have your adrenals. Okay? And this is by like working out. That's a stress that stresses your adrenals. So you've ever heard something called adrenal fatigue? And that's usually a result of overwork in the gym. So you have your reproductive organs, okay? Testes, naturally for the men. And this can be stressed by alcohol, okay? So these are the various stresses that stress the different systems. And then last but not least, we have the thyroid. And this is from dehydration. And I put these all up here because when you stress one of them, all of the systems are stressed. So let's say, yeah, I crush it in the workout, I crush it in my gym, I crush it with like drinking water, but I go out on the weekends or I go out for the weekend, I get smashed. Okay? Getting smashed will, yes, impact the reproductive organs, but they will also stress these other 2. It's all in one giant like triangle, okay, and they're all connected. So again, we've got to make sure that these stresses are limited throughout the week. Now, I'm not saying to stop drinking beer. I'm not saying to stop drinking alcohol, because I know we're all going to do it. But if you notice you feel like shit afterwards, you might want to limit the amount of stuff that you do, okay? Now, how do we cope with stress? Troy, how do you cope with stress? Eat, yeah, food. How else, Ronit? How else do you cope with stress? Working out.
And I also think if you're feeling really stressed out, you shouldn't keep it to yourself. I feel like, mental health is a really important thing, and you should just go talk to someone.
Friends. Friends. In other words, friends, people to talk to. Okay?
It's not the best way, but I mean, just listen to music, watch TV. It's kind of like an avoiding thing, but
Yeah, so like, sure, yeah, TV. Okay, kind of more of an avoidance piece.
distraction.
What about this? Sometimes. Sex is sometimes used as a way to deal with stress. I gotta burn, I'm so just tensed up. Sex is definitely one. Drugs, kind of also with alcohol, okay? Alcohol and drugs. But there are better, more effective ways of dealing with stress. And that brings me to my next point. So you've probably heard me talking about being here, being now, being present. And it's not because it's me being kooky and me, attaching to my inner hippiness. I read a book back in 2008, and I hope you write this title down someplace in your notes, because I highly recommend you read this book. It's called The Power of Now. The Power of Now. And it's written by a man by the name of Eckhart Tolle. Power of Now. And the author's last name is Tolle. I cannot recommend this book enough to you. This book probably was a seminal book in terms of my own development from a mindful, mental, spiritual standpoint. And it has empowered me with ways to better deal with stress, okay? And one of the things that they talk about, and people who are usually in mindfulness talk about, is this concept of how do you breathe correctly, okay? How do we breathe correctly? So go ahead and put your notes down really quick. And I just want you to stand up. So the first layer of breathing practices that are effective here is we want to learn how to deal with taking deep belly breaths. Has everyone done yoga here? Yeah, okay. So we know about the concept of breathing deeply. And that basically means you have to start expanding through the belly first. So take a deep breath in and then breathe it out all the way out. And then when you breathe in again, I want you to think about just trying to extend your belly, just your belly. So breathe in. You can put your hands on your belly to feel your belly moving, and then breathe out. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. Okay? And just relax for a second. Just after those 2 deep breaths, I don't know about you, but I feel way calmer. Okay? Things seem quieter, things seem slower. Okay? That's the first step of taking a really good, deep, nourishing breath. The second type of style, the second level of that is something called thoracic breathing. So now we're going to learn how to breathe in through the sides. So we're going to expand the sides, right? So I want you to breathe out. Just watch me for one quick second. You to breathe out. And then the hands are going to stay here. When you breathe in, and as soon as you hit your hands, I want you to try and breathe in by taking the air out through your sides. Okay, so let's try that. So hands on the belly. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in, touch your hands. And then I'll try and breathe out through the sides. And then breathe out. If you feel it, you can feel your rib cage expanding through the sides. Okay? The last type of breathing that you get in through this is then breathing in through the chest. So once you've taken a big, deep belly breath, and then in through the sides, the last part is breathing in through here. So let's go ahead and try that. Take a big, deep belly breath. Breathe in more through the sides. And breathe in through the chest. And relax. Have a seat. Okay? I find that whenever I am very stressed, I take 5 deep breaths. Take them right when you wake up. I guarantee you that's one of the best ways to start the day. Okay? The second thing of mindfulness, of learning how to bring yourself into the present moment, is learning how to count sounds. So like if I asked you to try and develop this idea of being mindful, the first thing you can do is be silent and then listen to how many sounds that you hear. Not necessarily judging what the sounds sound like, not attaching any meaning to them, but right now, how many sounds do you hear? Clicks and pops, sure. Joe Levo, what did you hear? Uh-huh. Okay. Gabe, what did you hear? Click, clicks, yeah. What else were you thinking about?
I was trying to focus on that and not assign, like think about the people on the drawing. How long this building's been here.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it crazy how your mind, like, as soon as you think, all right, creaky, creaky, that sounds a lot like that haunted house I was in that one time when I was 8 years old. God, that was so scary. What happened? You know, so, like, you can go down this rabbit hole when you start thinking about these things, but the trick is to not attach any kind of thought or memory to it. And that just takes practice. Okay? So, mindfulness is incredibly important in stress management. One more thing I almost forgot to add in terms of our stressors, coffee. Coffee is a great way to deal with stress. I love my coffee. I will kill you if you try and take it away from me. But I think if I really didn't need it, I probably could get it out of my system. You don't know? All right. Okay. The next piece here, and this is really to kind of help guide you in terms of where you're going with your nutrition. Because you've got to understand, well, what's your goal? What is the end goal? What is your function? What is your goal and function? Okay? Troy, what's your goal in your fitness, in your nutrition? What do you want? What's the end goal?
Lose about 30 more pounds.
Lose weight. Henry, what's your goal?
Just feel good in the morning.
Feel good in the morning. That's your only reason you squat 445 is because you want to feel good in the morning.
Obviously, I mean, to get healthier, but like I've been like outside the gym and lose weight, just feeling, Monday mornings, Sunday mornings, like Saturday mornings, feeling good. Like,
Feeling good.
energized and ready.
Okay. Joe Leva, what's your goal?
My goal ultimate is to start competing again and whatever.
To compete again. Danielle Leva, what about you?
Be stronger.
Be stronger. I don't want to lose weight. I want to gain weight. Right? I want them gains. Kobe, what about you?
Overall, just feel healthier, feel better about myself.
Sure. Ronit?
I would say lose weight, but also do that with like the right foods. Like there's lots, I feel like there's lots of different ways to lose weight, but I think like nutrition, like understanding the foods that make you feel really good is important. Right? So you feel, because I feel like food is just an important part of your like your body and your well-being. So understanding that connection between like food, losing weight, and still feeling good.
Do you think that there are a certain set of foods that everyone should be eating?
I think there are specific groups of food I think that are better.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Not just about like you said, calories and calories.
Right.
We point out time out.
Sure. Right. But there are principles that we can all use to apply and then figure out what works for us and what doesn't. There's no universal approach. You have death. Okay? If you're looking to lose weight, feel good, that's kind of like our performance track. Okay? You want longevity. You want to feel good about yourself. If you're in the competitor track, sorry, but believe it or not, you're actually closer towards the spectrum of death because you are trying to lift as much weight as you can, move as fast as you can. You're trying to milk everything you want out of your body. Okay? And there are different ways you go about nutrition based on this spectrum. If you're in the competitive track and it's time for the open, there might be times when you have to eat a crap ton of grains because you need the carbohydrate density. Or you need a crap ton of starches because you need the carbohydrate density. Is that going to affect how your cortisol spikes throughout the day? Yeah, kind of. But if you're looking at the performance track, where we have, a diet rich in good meats, vegetables, a little bit of fruit, a little bit of nuts and seeds, no sugar, etc., and you're doing workouts that don't crush you every single day, that's approaching more health. So I just want to make that clear in terms of what is it that you're eating for. Because you can kind of have some of both, but if your goal is competition and points is all that matters, there needs to be a conversation you can have with yourself about what you need to do when you're eating. Same goes for your health. You might not find out how much your body can actually do. So I just want you to be honest with that. Okay? What questions do you have so far? Okay. Moving right along. Hydration. How much water should we be drinking throughout the day? Who's got an idea? They say 8 glasses. 8 small glasses? 8 big glasses? Like those big tube glasses they give away at down in Cancun?
How much a glass is?
Exactly. So here's a really easy way to figure out what the minimum to maintain good, adequate functioning of gut health, etc. So you're going to take a half of your body weight in ounces. So whatever your body weight is, take half of that. In pounds, yeah, in pounds. That's a good clarification, yeah. Half your body weight in pounds, into libs, and then put that in ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, that's going to be 50 ounces of water you're going to have to drink. It's a lot of water, but I guarantee you, by the time you kind of adjust to that water consumption, you're going to feel a lot better. It's helping you detox your body. Yeah, now we're not talking about juice. We're not talking about coffee. We're not talking about beer, alcoholic beverages, etc. We're talking straight up water. Okay? In fact, if you're drinking juice now, I would stop doing it. Okay? It's got a lot of sugar. Even if it's like 100% orange juice, like healthy, good stuff, that at least we think it's healthy. Nope. Why I would not do juice is because there is no real heavy digestion happening. So it's going burned up, really absorbed really quickly. There's not like a slow release of sugars. And that's going to spike your insulin level, and then you're going to be all up and down, all down.
So what about the stuff like the NutriBullet, where you're like grinding up all the parts of the, where it's, you take the whole apple, you take the kale, and all that stuff, and you're getting the fiber as well as the juice. Are those better than the store? I'm assuming it's better.
I mean, if you're doing it yourself, and we're going to talk about food hygiene practices here in a second. If you're doing it yourself, that is better than buying something from the store. However, I would just caution you again about smoothies and mixed drinks that are chopped up for you. That takes a layer of digestion out that you yourself have to do, and it doesn't engender good eating habits because it's just down, maybe one chew, and that's it. Whereas if you chew something, you're stimulating saliva, you're getting everything prepped in preparation for that food to come down.
Right.
Okay. But again, it all comes back down to what's your goal. If you need nutrients really quickly, like if you're in the competitive track, you might want to do something like that. Okay?
Wait, I have a
Yes,
question.
please.
But what about like, so for breakfast, like if you were to make something that, it's like kale, like kind of what Kobe was saying, so it's more greens than fruit,
Mhm.
right? Like what, so you're saying that that's taking out a layer of digestion?
Yeah, I would even with good stuff, I would still not do a
Okay.
smoothie with that.
Okay.
I would chop it up, saute it in some oil, some olive oil, just lightly, and then eat it, and not smoothie it up. Okay? So we talked about how this was, water has that intoxication aspect to it. Okay? One thing in the morning when you wake up, I would do 8 ounces of water with a pinch of sea salt. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I drink water. Drink a glass of water, I don't eat anything, don't drink any coffee, boom, I reset it. Yes, sir?
Does temperature matter? I always read an article like every 6 weeks they say cold water is the best thing to do, like warm water is the best thing to do. Does it really make a difference?
To me, I mean, I've heard that. I don't want to, given my limited knowledge on that particular aspect of nutrition, I've heard room temperature water is the best. I just drink water.
Yeah.
I don't think we have to get to that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if
Complexity just yet. Yeah, I mean, that could be a conversation for a later time. But yeah, so, your body is basically pulling water from its lymph system at night. Your body is being hydrated at night by your lymph system. So we have to kind of replenish that. Boom, it's a good restart.
Why the sea salt?
A little bit of extra nutrients, a little bit of extra trace minerals for like electrolyte balance and whatnot.
Does that have to be sea salt or could it be just regular salt?
I would use sea salt.
Sea salt.
Just a pinch. Okay.
Pink laying on salt.
Yeah. And another thing about poor hydration is that late in the afternoon you're going to suffer from poor mental acuity. Okay, you're going to feel a little bit more. Your respiration rate's going to be going. Your heart rate's going to be going up, and also you'll be waking up groggy. So if you want to feel good on Saturday and Sunday, make sure your hydration is good throughout the week. Okay.
Also makes you feel hungry, right? If you're dehydrated.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of times when you think you're hungry, you're actually just dehydrated.
Mm-hmm. So let's move on to food hygiene now. Now we're getting to really important stuff. It sounds like we have a pretty good idea of what we're eating, but how we prepare stuff. Something I want to at least make you think about for a second is, how many of you know children, that have numbers of food allergies? Seems like my niece and nephew have food allergies. And then when you talk to your grandparents or your parents, nothing. Where did that all kind of go to hell? Where did the resiliency of our guts kind of fall to pieces? We could argue that a lot of it is from industrial factory farms, farm foods. Could also talk about the high preservatives that are in foods as well. So we need, I think, as a community of people, we need to kind of reset our guts. So we want, ideally, to improve gut health. That's what all of this stuff is designed. Because when you improve the quality of your gut, the processing power of your gut, you can absorb more nutrients. Okay? One of the first things you want to do is you want more home-cooked meals. Okay? One, this is good for mindfulness. Two, smelling stuff starts the digestion process. Okay? Smell. Okay, yes. Okay? It also will reduce the amount of additives you have. So you know what's going into your food. You can control the good and the bad that you are consuming. Okay? When you are eating, another good principle of food hygiene, no stimulation. Don't watch TV. Don't listen to music. Have a conversation with someone. In fact, you can even talk to people while you're eating. Okay, and that's going to slow down how quickly you eat your food. Chew your food. Chew your food. Okay? And I would also, if you are having trouble understanding the concept of eating your food or chewing your food, don't drink any water when you're eating. Don't drink any liquid when you're eating. Try it. And it will force you to really chew that baked potato. Okay? It will force you to really chew that piece of meat. Okay? And if you're getting enough vegetables in your diet or enough fruits and whatnot, there'll be enough water in that food itself to be able to help you digest stuff. Okay? If you're starting back up and you've got a number of little health issues or whatnot, cooked vegetables. Cooked vegetables will be better than raw. Okay? And here is the idea that you've already started to digest the food, the food stuff in the pot. Okay? It's one less layer of work that your body will have to do to digest that stuff. Okay? So lightly cook it. Lightly cook your vegetables. Okay? So when we regulate the quality of food that is going into our bodies, that actually has more of an impact than the actual macronutrient combination. Okay? Let me repeat that one more time. The quality of your food, the quality of how you prepare your food is going to be more important than the percentage of carbohydrates to fats. Because if your gut is not healthy, one, you can't absorb fats as easily. Okay? Good fats can be absorbed better with a healthy gut. So if you're eating lots of fat, you're going to get more out of that fat if your gut is healthy. Okay? So food intolerances. Common food intolerances: dairy, eggs, nuts, soy, grains, oats. Okay, And not necessarily even intolerances, we could also take that down to like sensitivities. Do you ever eat a burger and you feel a little bloated afterwards? Do you ever eat pasta and feel really tired? Not sick, but just like, oh, like tired. You ever had that feeling of just exhaustion after you eat? That shouldn't be happening. If you want to try and find out what is happening to your body, we have to remove one food at a time for 7 to 10 days. So if you're trying to figure out what foods are working and what aren't for you, remove one food only at a time for a period of 7 to 10 days. You're going to journal it, record how you are feeling. Okay. What questions do you have so far? This is all pretty straightforward. But it's super important. Cook at least 2 meals per day at home, if at all possible, if your schedule permits it.
When you cook it,
Yes.
does it matter what kind of oil or, I guess, whatever you use to cook it?
I would use extra virgin olive oil for everything. Stay away from like cottonseed oil. The seed oils you don't want to use, even sesame seeds. Yeah, stay away from that. Extra virgin olive oil is probably what I would recommend. I would also cook with butter. I would also cook with lard. Like if you got bacon, save your oh, Joe, come on, it's delicious. save the bacon grease and use it in like a cup, put it in the refrigerator, it'll last for a while.
With coconut oil.
Oh yeah, coconut oil. Coconut in general is great to eat. It's got a lot of good fat. Okay, good question. All right, nutrient density. Okay. So here's basically like the basic combination that you guys have already kind of established here in terms of what we should eat. Meats, vegetables, some nuts, seeds, some small fruit, a little bit of starch, and no sugar. Okay, so meat, vegetables, nuts, seeds, small amounts of fruit, a little bit of starch, and no sugar. That's the basic combination. If you've ever done paleo eating, that's basically what it is. Okay? When I say starches, what are we talking about? Starches. What do you think? Potatoes. Sweet potatoes. Yucca root. Taro. Okay? Those are all great starches. Yeah, Joe.
With beans, with legumes fit in there, I guess, is that, no?
No beans. Beans naturally are not, you can't eat beans raw. Try eating pinto beans raw. You ever tried that before?
No.
It's not too pretty. Okay? So that's why usually if you have to cook it to really express itself, it's probably not the best thing to eat. A lot of the USDA recommendations about, eat grains for a healthy heart and a healthy, happy life. The nutrient density, the nutrient combinations that are found within grains that they use to qualify all these studies are grains that are uncooked. But, newsflash, do you eat wheat and rice raw? No. Okay? So that's why we want to try and stay away from grains like wheat, rice, etc. Not only for the inflammatory responses those foods cause, but also because there's not really much nutrient density. Okay? And we'll talk about what I mean about nutrient density here in a second.
What do you mean by no sugars? If you're saying
No sugar.
just
No processed sugar. Yeah. So no donuts with all that gooey yum stuff in, no jellies, etc.
Is that why it's a little bit of fruit because of the natural sugar in the fruit?
Yes. And vegetables you can still have
Yeah.
natural sugar. Okay? And that's another reason why I'm saying try and stay away from smoothies. Because as soon as you chop all that stuff up, you've released a lot of sugars, believe it or not. Okay? And you're just going to down it, and then insulin's going to be like, too much sugar in the bloodstream. Yeah, so we don't want to have those waves of insulin spikes. That's not necessarily a good thing. Okay? We talk about minerals, we talk about vitamins, we talk about amino acids, which are all essential pieces
pieces, but there's also something that is very often overlooked. And I feel like this is the next frontier of like nutrition. Phytochemicals, okay? Phytochemicals. We're talking like things like curcumin, sulforaphane, catechins, and caffeine. These are things that like plants produce to try and kill something. Okay? They don't want to be eaten, right? So they're producing these small little levels of toxin. Of course, what we have, well, which we're not really toxin, but things that are toxic to other things that we're eating. We, of course, have evolved to adapt to this type of stuff, and we eat it. What these things do is that they cause stress on our bodies, but it's through that stress response that our cells adapt and grow and become stronger. So if you've ever heard of like, oh, you need to do antioxidants. Antioxidants is not something you probably want to do a lot of. Like lots of vitamin E and lots of vitamin C sometimes isn't the best idea because you need oxidative stress to happen to your cells. Okay? So we don't want too much antioxidants because it's stuff like this that causes the oxidative response, from how I understand it at least. Okay? So, these usually come from plant sources. So obviously all of those things like kale, different types of kale, different types of greens, mustard greens, dandelion greens, mazunka greens, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Bok choy, those are all great choices for greens. Okay? The reason why you're probably not hearing too much about phytochemicals is that nutritionists, it's hard to quantify that stuff for studies. So you can quantify minerals, you can quantify vitamins, phytochemicals. And it's the same thing about this idea that kind of leads me to something else I'm really passionate about. Fermented foods. Does anyone know, can anyone give me an example? Give me an example of fermented foods. One fermented food. It can be something called kefir. Sauerkraut, yeah.
Sriracha.
Don't think sriracha is fermented. It is? Yeah.
Kombucha?
Kombucha, yeah.
You drink it, it's so good.
Kimchi. Oh, yeah. Kombucha is awesome. You just said kombucha is not good.
Oh, I know, I love
Oh, yeah. Kombucha.
It's a fermented drink.
Pickles. What else? Oh, tempeh. Miso. Fermented soys, you know? Why am I such a stickler or a believer in this stuff?
Because it helps your gut.
Because it helps your gut, and how it helps your gut is that it seeds your body with bacteria. From what I have read, there is actually more bacterial cells in your body than there are cells in your own body. We have evolved through thousands of years to live with these little things that are floating. It kind of sounds disgusting, but these things are incredibly important for developing health. Our gut and our brain actually connect and talk with each other. So, yes, sir.
I'm going to make sure none of that's pasteurized, though. It kills all the bacteria.
Yes, because
So I
that's like
had a hard time finding sauerkraut that wasn't pasteurized. Believe it or not, most of them are.
that makes absolutely no sense to me. I hear what you're saying, but like it's like
Whole Foods has the Whole Foods brand.
Yeah, that's what we found.
Yeah.
Yeah, 365 gram Whole Foods. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, definitely. Even raw milk, if you're really adventurous, that's like Delta. I'm still trying to find where raw milk is. I know it's out in Lancaster County and some parts of Bucks County and whatnot, but everyone's got a big dealer with raw milk. Let me put it up, okay?
Resistance to dairy farm.
Okay? So, tailing off this with fermented foods, probiotics. Probiotics are okay, but it's really good to do the prebiotic stuff. So prebiotic foods, like this, but then there are also some vegetables like kale. Kale's like the wonder vegetable here. It's incredibly nutrient dense, and it's a great prebiotic food as well, even though it's not fermented. So try and get this stuff into your body at least twice a week. At least twice a week. Okay? Any questions on this?
What
Yes.
what are your thoughts on, I mean, dairy?
But, we're not gonna turn into robots. We're all eating olives and nuts and seeds. We just can't do that.
It's
Okay?
like the full fat stuff too, like
Whoa.
cottage cheese, right?
Whoa.
Like all that kind of stuff.
Fat, yeah. Fat. You don't get fat, now I'm talking about this second. You don't get fat by eating lots of fat. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at some of the macros. So our macronutrients. Protein. Protein, folks, ladies and gentlemen, this is king. Protein is probably the most important macronutrient for weight loss or lean muscle mass gain. Okay? There's a number of reasons why. One, something called the thermic effect of food. Thermic effect of food. Protein takes a lot of energy for your body to digest. Okay? So you're burning calories while you're eating. It's one piece. Lean muscle mass. You want muscle? There's no other way around it. You've got to eat more protein. Okay? Also this idea of satiety. Feeling full when you eat protein, whether it's from plant sources or from animal sources, I would recommend, if you're a vegetarian, that's okay, but I'm not going to tell you you're a bad person, as long as you're getting the protein, but it's going to help you feel fuller, so you're not going to want to eat that other cheesy puff, or that other donut, okay, or have that other beer. Also, if you work out a lot, which you all do, it's important for repair. Repairs your body. Also, protein helps regulate specific hormones that help you burn fat. And or store fat. Okay? So we're talking about stuff like glucagon and insulin. Okay? This is going to basically minimize the effects of insulin spikes. That's basically what you have to know. More protein. If you are in the right amounts of protein, you will minimize the spiking of your insulin, which will not cause you to start bleeding up and down like this. Okay? Also, when you have lower blood sugar in the bloodstream, that means less of it. If you have less of it, there's less of a chance of going to being stored in your fat cells. So being put into adipose tissue and whatnot. Yes, sir.
On satiety,
Yeah.
hopefully not the only one, but when you're eating, and you're talking about being full, like when is full? Like when do you know you're full? Because I know I'm guilty of going to my I can eat that other slice of pizza, like I can eat some more, you know. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm the same way, because I can eat a house. Okay? But as I've learned how to slow down and chew my food, I get fuller a lot faster. It's that, when you start from day one today, you're gonna start chewing your food more. You're gonna take a bite, you're gonna put your fork down. Yes,
No, I just had a question.
Yeah.
After you're done.
Okay, sure. You're gonna put your fork down and you're chew until it's like nothing, and then you swallow. You do the same thing again, slowing down. Because that's usually sometimes people who overeat just eat too fast. Okay, exactly. That's your question.
Yeah, I've heard like a lot of things about eating with chopsticks to slow down. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Awesome.
Yeah. Like
Not only does it help you slow down, but it helps your brain like I don't know, I remember reading an article about how there's some mental benefit to eating with chopsticks.
So you get really good with chopsticks, then you can just
yeah,
shovel it in.
well, I've been eating with them for a while now. I'm like, I don't even know if it slows me down that much faster, but I just want to know, like,
Yeah, chopsticks are great. I mean, if you want to use them, it's probably a lot of fun. Like, you're really, really frustrated sometimes.
Is it also beneficial to regulate the amount of food that you put in your mouth at once instead of pounding? Just like, you know, about like a big spoonful or like just, yeah.
Well, let's think about this. If you're shoving your mouth full of food, you think know you probably shouldn't be, maybe you should be just cutting those bites down a little bit, you know? Because I hear what you're saying. I think that's going to be ultimately up to you. I'm not going to say, you should be eating 10 grams of protein with every bite. I have no idea how much is a lot for you, so that's something to think about. Another great thing about protein, can I have another question? No? Another thing about protein is that it is equivalent to carbs from a caloric standpoint. So for every gram, for 1 gram of protein, you have 4 calories. For 1 gram of carbohydrate, you have 4 calories. For 1 gram of fat, you have 9 calories. So from a way to like be able to balance out your caloric requirements for the day, protein and carbohydrate can kind of be interplayed or interspersed with each other.
And you know what the sugar thing is for that?
The sugar thing.
A gram of sugar is how many calories?
So we're not talking about food stuffs, we're talking about macronutrients, whether it's carbohydrate, it can come from sugar, it can come from vegetables, wherever. But the carbohydrate source, that's all we're looking at, that has 4 calories per gram. Now, you tell me if 1 gram of sugar, table sugar, raw sugar, is going to be as good for you as 1 gram of, carbohydrate from another source. It's going to be doing different things. That's why you can't just say calories, calories. Okay? Some good sources we already talked about: beef, poultry, chicken, fish, shellfish, you can handle it. Okay? Plant source. I'm not going to talk about plant sources too much today, but if you are a vegetarian, you know your plant sources and whatnot. I believe kale has lots of protein in it, believe it or not. Zach, what else? Have you tried in the past that seems to work for you?
Like protein wise?
Sure.
I do eat tofu. I eat, they have protein supplements such as powders, stuff like that are plant-based. I've heard before that a handful of peas, cooked peas, is equivalent to almost a 6 or 8 ounce steak as far as protein, but I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
But I also eat, there's seitan, tempeh.
Okay.
They're all fermented.
Sure. Anything that the better, the more fermented a plant source is, I would probably say, yeah. Especially soy. Soy has a high estrogenic effect. The more soy you consume, there's studies have shown there's an increased chance of cancer. But then again, there's also studies that have been shown that says increased chance of cancer when you consume meat. So it's what do you really want to believe? I think when it comes down to it, we have to look at who is writing the study, what's their agenda, what is their bias, and you decide for yourself. But me, I'm not going to denigrate vegetarians, but I eat meat. I eat a lot of it. Okay?
So with dairy, going back to what Bernie said, what are your thoughts, any specific type of, when it comes to milk, yogurt,
full fat, organic is always the best way to go.
So 2%, whole milk?
Whole milk, not 2%, whole milk,
So
organic.
None of the almond milk, soy milk, or...
The problem with almond milk is that, so you have, there is an omega-3, we'll talk about this in our fats here, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acid balance, and that there have been recommendations of ratios of 1 to 3, 1 to 5, but usually the typical Western diet has a ratio of 1 omega-3 to 15 omega-6 fatty acids, and that's too much, okay? So we want to try and bring that down. We'll talk about more of that in a second. How much protein should you be eating per day? Here comes the most important piece. 1 gram, 1 pound of body weight. If you want to lose weight, put your goal weight that you want to lose, and then use that. Okay? So if you weigh 240 and you want to weigh 220, I would probably actually start off with trying to lose 10 pounds first. You don't want to try and lose really more than 1 pound a week if you're trying to lose weight. Okay? So just plug in whatever like, you know, that number would be. So you need 220 grams of protein per day. And that's just to maintain. It's a lot, but you get used to it. Trust me, I've tried it. You will adjust. Okay?
Would you like a snack on the steak?
Yeah. Carbohydrate. Okay? So we have nutrient-dense carbohydrate, and we have nutrient-sparse carbohydrate. What do you think would be the nutrient-dense forms of carbohydrate? Say again?
Sweet potatoes.
Nutrient-dense.
Kale, spinach.
Kale, spinach,
No.
okay, greens, leafy green vegetables, broccoli, some squashes. Nutrient-sparse would be more like pasta, rice, any kind of wheat, corn, even tubers, like the potatoes, sweet potatoes. Again, we're looking at it in relative comparison, okay? All right. The primary source of everyone's carbohydrate, if you're looking at health, should be seasonal vegetables. Seasonal vegetables should be your primary source of carbohydrate. Fruit and starches should be your secondary source. If you are a competitive athlete, and you are a lean athlete, you can process sugars. If you are a non-lean athlete, you need to work on reducing the amount of like simple sugars you have right after workouts. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But starches should be primarily the stuff that you would consume after you eat. A little bit later, we'll talk about that. When you are stressed, when you have constantly high cortisol levels, that will screw up your carbohydrate intake. And here's the funny thing also, is that when you eat good carbohydrate, that will help reduce your cortisol response. Okay? You need cortisol. It's a necessary stress hormone. It's your fight or flight response. You know, that is an important thing, specifically as an athlete. It gets you fired up to do work. But constantly, chronically elevated cortisol levels are not good to help you absorb carbohydrate. So that gets back into the thing we talked about first about mindfulness and learning how to control stress. That will help you be able to absorb those nutrients a little bit better. Fat. Like I said a second ago, more fat in is not necessarily going to make you more fat. Okay? Poor fats, like stuff like trans fat, margarine, donuts, things like that, that will help you gain weight. And also, more importantly, there'll be increased inflammation. And again, inflammation is what we don't want for overall systemic health. Best sources. Again, my bias is towards animal sources. Okay, but you can also do, what else do they have here? Coconut. Great. Olives, olive oil. Okay, and some nuts. Now when I'm talking about nuts, I'm not talking like peanuts. Okay. I'm talking like almonds, cashews, walnuts, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts. I think Brazil nuts, when I was learning, those had the highest amount of nutrient density out of all the nuts.
You want to eat these raw, right? Raw nuts?
Yeah, these will be raw. You can do them roasted and salted.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, that's good. And again, like I said, if your gut health is not good, it will be more difficult for you to absorb fats and the good stuff from fats. So again, getting back to the whole idea of good food hygiene practices, slowly eating your food, preparing your food, etc. Questions on protein, carbohydrate, and fat? Okay. As opposed to your health. All right? All about those pounds, baby. All right. Now, Go ahead and let's turn to this sheet right here. Do some calculating. So one of the things that we have to start thinking about is calculating our basal metabolic rate. What is the rate at which at rest that we need calories to survive? Okay? So at the top of that page, write in your age, write in your height, and that's in centimeters. Okay? And write your weight, that is in kilograms.
If someone were to ask the best way to convert to centimeters, what would you tell them?
That's a great question. I would say go to a computer and pull up something. In fact, let me do that right now. Centimeter, let's see, metric. To figure out your BMR, you're going to take all of those calculations and plug them in and work them through. Okay? So go ahead and take, and for women, likewise the same thing. We're just going to figure out the BMR right now. Okay? So go ahead and take 5 minutes to go ahead and work through those things. As we're doing moderate to heavy exercise, I think we should start with moderate exercise. That's 3 to 5 days per week. So you're going to take that number, BMR, and you're going to multiply it by 1.55.
So you're going to take our BMR and multiply
By 1.55. That'll be your starting point.
I must not stop.
What's your BMR?
21.
Say again?
21.
That's not bad.
That's right.
Now multiply that by 1.55.
Yeah, 33 times it by 1.5.
It's about normal. It's about right. What's that?
It's bigger, so you don't want one.
You can't get a lot of money.
I need like a side of beef, like right there, right there.
Yeah.
I should wait. I
You
should
should
be gone.
have a beef glove. Now it's like, the beef glove's empty. You have to hold on to it, just there right in your hand. Okay, so hopefully now you have your daily caloric needs. Okay? Now here's the thing. If you're looking to lose weight, you shouldn't lose more than 1 pound per week. That is for sustainable weight loss, and the same thing is for lean muscle mass gain. 1 pound per week. Okay? To do that, ideally, you have to subtract 500 calories per day. 3,500 calories consumed will usually lead to 1 pound gained and 1 pound lost. So there's like the magic caloric number. But again, even though I'm giving you these numbers, these formulas to calculate a piece, remember, the most important thing is what? If there's anything you walk away with here, what is the most important thing when it comes to your nutrition?
Everybody's different.
That's true, but for you, the one thing that is the same, food hygiene is incredibly important. Make sure that you're preparing 2 home-cooked meals per day. Okay? If at all possible, if you need to do food prep throughout on the weekend to do that, do it. Slow down when you eat. Chew all of your food. Don't drink water or liquid during the meal. Take 20 minutes before or after before you start drinking that stuff. Okay? But then if we're coming back to numbers that we can physically track, there's your numbers. Alright? So, your daily caloric needs to achieve your goal weight. So if you want to lose weight, you're obviously going to be taking off 500 calories off of that number. If you want to gain weight, you want to add 500 calories to that number. Okay?
Per day.
Per day. Right? And 500 extra calories per day times 7, there's 3,500, there's your magic number. Okay?
How do you intake, I eat 3,473 calories a day.
Sounds about right.
To maintain, that's to maintain, yeah. So if you want to lose weight,
So
you
if you want
have
to
to
lose,
500 a day.
you take 500 off that today.
Guess what, Henry? You've been the same way for how long? You've already been doing it.
Okay? So now, take a look at your daily protein. You're going to take your body weight. Your body weight, so that's actually for your calories. So your body weight daily protein should be your body weight. So take your body weight in pounds.
Okay.
And then multiply that number by 4. This is just your calories from protein. This is going to be your calories from protein.
But I have a question though. So
Yeah.
if you're looking weight, would it be your current weight or would it be your, do you know?
So yeah, so we're gonna base it off, how I've done in the past is I've taken the daily calories that are required to maintain,
Yeah,
and then take 500 calories off of that,
okay.
okay? So let's just calculate the protein, carbs, etc.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
By that for right now, and we can worry about where we can kind of like take things out, okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now, to figure out the caloric needs for your total daily carbohydrate, take your body weight and multiply that by 1.5. I have a 2 next to that because if you're working out really intense and you're a lean athlete, 2 times your body weight would be what you need. No one here is going to use 2. So that's the body weight times 1.5. Okay?
These are calories, right?
The body weight times 1.5 will be the grams of carbohydrate that you will need to consume. That will be the grams. Again, body weight times 1.5 will be the grams that you will need to consume. Once you have that number, take that number and multiply it by 4, and that will give you your caloric balance for carbohydrate. Yeah, you can cut it.
I went through a massive, for those of you who are kind of watching through the video, Michelle just asked me about caloric balance and adding, how much calories should I be adding? And I'm going to tell you that when I was gaining muscle, or when I was gaining weight, I was back in the days when I was a meathead, I was eating for breakfast, I kid you not, 12 eggs, or at least 8 eggs and then egg whites with it, with extra vegetables, and then a bagel, and then 2 hours later, I would have a chicken breast. It was like a full-time job. But I gained weight, but I don't necessarily gain weight very easily. You know, my endurance background just prevents me from gaining too much weight. So the answer to your question is, I would try and shoot for 1 pound a week, and we're gonna be playing with the macronutrients, we're gonna be playing with the calories, and we're gonna find out what works for you. So in 2 weeks when we come back, we're gonna start with 1907 plus 500.
Right, okay.
Okay? Okay, are we all there? Everyone good? Now, to calculate your daily fat, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Take your daily protein calories, add that to your total daily carbohydrate calories, take that number and subtract it from your total daily calories you figured out, and then divide that by 9. Okay, just follow that little equation there. And that'll give you the calories you need based off of fat. We'll be able to calculate the grams in a second. Yes?
Doing this right, I think it's a negative.
So how many total calories do you have?
24/7.
Okay. So, hold on. So we've got, you have 4, what's your body weight?
103.
So 1 in terms of kinds of beef or meat, grass-fed or wild fish or farm-raised fish. Here's something that's going to sound a little bizarre to you. Not bizarre, but just why? It doesn't matter if the food is grass-fed or farm-raised, the nutrient density will be basically the same. Now, if you are looking towards, supporting sustainability, and you're also looking towards reducing inflammation within your body, then grass-fed. But from a nutrient density standpoint, and that's why the nutrient density is a very nebulous kind of term that different nutritionists and scientists can use. It doesn't take into account that the other effects of phytochemicals and things that deal with inflammation. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. What other questions do we have? Okay, so once we have all of those things together, let's take a look at these little prescriptions. So 4 meals a day, 5 meals a day, and notice that in parentheses it says for a lean athlete. Okay? Some of these percentages will be different for you based off of where you're going, but I just had this as an avatar that I created here. So if we notice, let's take a look at the 4 meals per day. If you notice, protein is constant. Every meal, eat the same amount of protein. Okay? During the workout or immediately after the workout, a protein shake with low sugar, low carbohydrate would be a good idea. Okay? And then for dinner, you're again having that same portion. Usually about like a fistful is about, I can't remember how much grams it is, but they usually say about a fistful of protein is about that. But that's again on average. That's for like the average pieces. You might have to weigh your food for a little while just to get an idea of like, well, how much is 25 grams? How much is 50 grams? And then after you get an idea of what 50 grams looks like, you won't have to use the scale anymore. Cool? Okay? If we notice, look at the carbohydrate breakup. Where is the carbohydrate the highest? During and immediately after. Okay? And this is for people who are probably working out in the evening. Okay? If you want a more detailed plan about how you can eat, though that's something we have to talk about outside the purview of this particular seminar. But I'm just giving you the idea of where you should be eating and consuming your macronutrients. Okay? And then if we look at fat, look at where fat is the highest and the lowest. Why do you think it would be the lowest immediately during or immediately after the workout?
Tough to digest.
Tough to digest? Yep. That's it. Like you need to ingest stuff quick after your workouts. Okay? Quick stuff. And that's why there isn't much fat during the workout or immediately after. Okay? I think for everyone here, I think the best approach to be able to spread out the load of all this food is definitely 5 times a day. Okay? That's with like 2 snacks. So there's 2 snacks. Okay? Actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there's 1 snack. And then you can count kind of like that intra-workout immediate post as like a snack as well. So like you come to the gym, you have your protein, low carbohydrate shake for some people, and then maybe a small banana or a piece of fruit. Okay? Probably erring on the side of more like fruit as opposed to like a starch like a banana. Again, it's for certain people. If you're a lean athlete, you can process sugars very well. If you are a non-lean, non-athlete, the last thing you want to consume after workout is something really sugary or starchy. So like a workout shake, you don't need that. Okay? So what you need is to get back home right after the workout. You need to drink a lot of water. You need to get home and you need to cook up a nice meal. That's what you need if you're trying to lose weight. So intra-workout is meaning it's happening right then and there. Immediate post-workout window is anywhere between 30 and, they say between 20 and 30 minutes. Okay? And that can be something like light. That can be like a snack in and of itself, like leftovers from something else. And then you get that in, go take a shower, and then you cook up for dinner.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering what kind of stuff. You have to stay up until like 11 o'clock.
No. You will not have to stay up till 11 o'clock for sure.
So I just have a question, like, so for a 6 o'clock in the morning workout, I mean, that intra-workout, immediate post, like, that's just not applicable, right?
No, it still is.
We need to supplement make breakfast?
Yes. Again, for someone who is a lean athlete, the immediate post-workout window requires a protein shake and then something with quick acting, quick absorbing carbohydrate. But for someone who is not that, a good breakfast, low in starches, high in veggies, high in protein, some good fats is okay. Okay? What other questions did you have about this? Okay. So let's take a look. Last thing, and then we're out of here. I just want to kind of like, in case you're like wondering, where the heck is that? Let's say someone who, before this seminar, this is how they ate. So, low-fat yogurt with granola for breakfast, okay? For lunch, there's gonna be a sandwich with white bread. And maybe group's probably gonna have is just figuring out how to consume all of the food or consume less of the food here, okay? What questions do you have about anything that we talked about today? Okay, folks. So the next time we are going to meet, because next weekend, one more thing. I do want to talk about food tracking. Food tracking. This is my homework assignment to you. Yes, there is homework. In 2 weeks, we're going to meet. So we're going to meet again on Sunday the 17th at 11 o'clock. Sunday the 17th at 11 o'clock is when we're going to meet next. So that'll give you 2 weeks to play with like food stuff. And then we're going to meet back up. That'll be the second of 5 sessions we're going to meet. Okay?
It's at 11, right?
11 on Sunday, yeah.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
And this, you might get into food tracking, but what about last week playing ourselves?
What about it?
Yeah, were you doing it every day? Or twice a
Yeah.
week?
If you're going to weigh yourself, do it at the same time every day. I would do it right when you wake up, take your poo, take your pee, step on that, and then see what happens. Okay? So for food tracking, what I'm going to ask you to do, you can do it a number of different ways, but, let's say you got your paper here. It'll be Monday. Okay, breakfast. Record the time. Okay, and then write like what you had. Did you have 3 strips of bacon? 3 strips of bacon. Okay, a handful of kale. Raw or cooked. You may indicate what you did with it. Okay, did you have any nuts, seeds? How much nuts or seed? Half a cup of almonds. Okay, etc., etc. Be extremely diligent with what you are eating and when you are eating. Did you have any coffee? 1 cup coffee. Okay. And then there'll be lunch. But before you do lunch, before you talk about what we do lunch, journal with how you felt after breakfast. So, breakfast, post. Feel sharp. Okay, feel sharp, feel clean, or I felt really bloated, or I had really bad indigestion, I had a really bad headache. Okay, also be recording how much water you're drinking and when you're drinking it. And the same thing for dinner. How did I feel after lunch? Did I notice that I got really tired around 3 o'clock after I ate at 2 or after I ate at 1? Okay? And then at the end of the day, was the day good or was it bad? Okay? So grade yourself throughout the day. So on every one of your food logs, every day, I'm going to see 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to see a smiley face or an upset face. Yeah?
I use my FitnessPal right now. Is that okay, or do you want this written out for
FitnessPal is fine. FitnessPal is fine. And in fact, if you're looking for a way to track your calories or to kind of figure out a way to all right, what does this mean in calories? FitnessPal, MyFitnessPal is a good choice as well. Okay? What other questions do you have today? Can you start a fire in here? Joe Leva? What do you think? Joe Leva's the gas man here.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either, All right, folks. Well, if you have no other questions, I will release you to a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.